Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for coming back to yet another episode of Sometimes the Old Man is Right. As usual, I am your host, Lamont Ferguson, playing the role of the old man. And once again, I am the old man at sea, back at work. I'm back on the home line on Holland America. You know that's the home line. On the Westerdam. It is making a run from Seattle into Alaska and then back to Seattle. And we are currently making our way back to Seattle. I'll get into some further details about that a little bit later. And as usual, I know, it's been a while since we last spoke, but I'm here now. That'll be how I come into every episode when I had great laid plans to go, hey, look, I'm here now. This is episode 29 of the podcast. 29, almost about to be 30. It meant something. 30 meant something at a long time. I remember as a kid, turning 30 meant something. I remember my aunt turned 30. It was a big deal. But then I don't know if 30 means anything anymore other than you're no longer in your 20s, which is just how numbers work. But that's what this is, episode 29. So, hey, how you been? What's the good word? I hope you are all well. I am doing all right. Thanks for asking. I am coming up on the end of week number 2 of what will be a total of 10 weeks at work on ships. Last week I was on the Princess Cruise Line's Discovery Princess, which is their newest ship, and I must say it was a quite an impressive ship, as all ships are impressive. I mean, the new ships get, they got the new ship smell. I don't know what that is. New ship smell sounds horrible. Like you say new car smell, you go, oh yeah, that must smell that. But if you say new ship smell, that just sounds like it smells like it's been in the ocean. I guess before it's been in the ocean. That's probably what I'm alluding to. I don't really know. This episode's going to be all over the place because it's been a while and all I do is sit in my room and I don't really talk to anyone. I work twice a week. I've only worked once this week. I work tonight. So I really haven't been using a lot of my words. So I think I'm going to be using a lot of my words here. They'll be all over the place. I apologize for that. But you're the one that tuned in. So here we are. But it was a nice time over on the Discovery Princess. And I will say this, like I said, all ships are impressive because of what they've done with the ships. They go, hey, we're going to take a city block and put it on the ocean. Put some engines on it, put it on the ocean, and have you sail around. In essence, that's what a cruise ship is. It's crazy. We're going to take a building and float it out in the ocean. So they're all impressive. And the Discovery Princess, a beautiful brand new ship, and all was fine. I had a couple of decent shows over there, and I'm going to say they're decent because, well, I'm going to tell you the truth. I really can't figure out the Princess audiences. And I don't want to say that they're weird, but they're a little weird. I don't have any other word for them. Look, I've done this thing that we call comedy for a very long time, and I know what a good set feels like. I know what a bad set feels like, and I'm not talking about after the set. I mean, while it's occurring. I know what a good set feels like when you're in the eye of a good set, and a bad set, what it feels like when you're in the eye of the bad set. And I cannot get a feel on Princess audiences. It always feels like at best it went okay. That's the only thing I could tell you while I'm in the set that it feels like. Afterwards, people will then come over and say, oh man, we had such a great time. But I'm like, really? Because I couldn't tell that. And I think some of it has to do with the sound. Because I noticed that once I'm in a Princess Theater, the sound is different. Now, this is a sound medium. I know sound, but I don't know all the technical aspects of sound, which I should know. I mean, I really should. It's the medium that I work in. Stand-up comedy is a sound medium. All the looks and the facial things and the movements, that's icing on top of the cake, which is sound, the words and everything involved with that. But I don't know the technical aspects of sound. I know what it sounds like. And now I said the word sound way too many times. Now it's going to sound weird. But I know what good sound sounds like. It's a feel, because sound travels in waves, and therefore it's something that you can feel. And something about that Princess Theater, you cannot feel the sound. I've been in there for other shows. I've been in there for singers where they're amplified, but they feel like they're extremely far away. I don't feel the vibrations of the sound in the theater. That's probably the best way to describe it. And it could be on the fact that there's older people on Princess. Now, if you go by the cruise lines, they're very old on Holland. Although I don't view them as being very old. There's some people that are old and there's some people that aren't as old. And so the numbers all balance out. But anyway, there are old people on Holland. And one of the things that people complain about as you get old is the volume of sound. I was talking to one of the trumpet players at the BB King the other day, and he said, "Oh yeah, our biggest complaint is that we're too loud constantly," which I get. They're not too loud, but that's an old person complaint. Once you get older, sound gets more annoying. And the levels of sound is annoying. Everything's too loud. Oh, this is too loud. This is way too loud. It bothers me. I got to leave. It's too loud. I've seen many, many audience members leave because I thought, hey, I think that they think it's too loud. I've seen them walk out of singers because the singer was too loud. So that's just something that happens with oldness. So maybe that's what they've done over at Princess, knowing that their clientele is older. And so they've kind of buffered the sound to where you don't really feel it. But it's very noticeable that you don't really feel it. To people that are in the business, like I said, in the business of sound. So maybe that has something to do with it. And like I said, I don't know all the technical aspects of it, because all I know is I speak into a microphone, it's amplified. I couldn't even tell you what the good microphone is. Or somebody says, "Hey, what kind of microphone do you want?" I would go, I don't really know. One that makes me louder. Do you have one of those back there? Like, I'm not one of those guys that goes, "Yeah, give me a Shure 45. That's what I like." And by the way, that's the only mic I know is Shure 45. That's why I felt so confident in saying it. But I don't really know anything else. I don't know what other numbers Shure has. I don't know if there's other makers of microphones other than Shure. All I know is Shure 45. That's the only thing I know. But yeah, and I should know, but I don't know it. So that's where it feels odd on Princesses, because I feel that the sound is stifled to accommodate old people that might complain about things being too loud. So therefore, I never get a feel as to what is going on. There's no connection. I never feel like there's a connection with the audience. And then, like I said, afterwards, one person will come up and say, "Oh, hey, I had so much fun. It was really great." And just being in that, it's very unsettling as a performer to not know what's going on. Because I'll tell you the truth, over there, I thought I did a show on the first night in the theater. Theater was pretty packed, not completely full, but pretty packed. And I came away thinking, I don't know what happened there. I don't know how it went. I don't know what went on. There were laughs here and there. You couldn't feel a roll. I think they laughed. All right, I guess we made it through. And then the next day I'm walking around the ship and no one said anything to me. Like, normally what happens on the ship is once you perform, you'll get a random passenger come by. Hey, I really enjoyed your show. I really did. No one, not a single word, a compliment, anything. And then that just started getting to me that, oh my goodness, these people hate me. That's what goes on. So I thought, I guess this will just be a week of me sitting in my room for the entire week until I have to come out and do the second show that nobody will be at because they hated it so bad. And, like I said, it's very unsettling. I even had to do math on the whole thing because I looked at the capacity of the theater, and the theater held 367 people. I did 2 shows, so we'll have 724 people. I'm going on maximum case scenario, but there was 3,200 passengers on the ship. So at best case scenario, about 20% of the people, of the passengers, could have seen me. That's it. 20%. 1 out of 5 passengers could have possibly have seen me if everyone who could have gone to the show went to the show and did it twice. But here's the thing. The theater was not fully packed. There was, 367 is the capacity. Maybe about 300 on each show is what it was. Maybe 300. So that's not even capacity. And so I was in my head is what was going on. So once I figured out that, hey, the reason why people aren't saying anything to you is because only 20% of the people could have seen you, then it made sense that I wasn't being approached like on other ships. So that finally made me a little happier. But that was playing with my head the entire time. And then as the week went along, more and more people actually started telling me that they did enjoy the show. And then I was like, oh, okay, I get it. Because that whole idea of a performer is that you're only, well, as a comic, you're only as funny in your head as your most recent show is just crazy, senseless torture that every comic endures. Because that's healthy, right? This is a healthy profession where you just put your ego on the line every single night. You get no banking of, no cachet of funny. Like, I've been funny. It's been 40 years of funny. Yet one show I'll go, oh, I don't think I know what I'm doing. It just makes no sense. All I know is they keep having me back, so I must be doing something right, or not as wrong as others, may be the best way to put it. But I am now back on the home line where I know what to expect and all is familiar. And I was going to talk about this later in the podcast, but I guess I'll keep all the topics together. So this is week 1 on the Westerdam, and all has been going according to plan. I performed on the night of the first port, which I did have some concerns about because we left on Sunday, Sea Day Monday, we're into Juneau Tuesday, and that is the night that I perform. It's a long port stay, and I was concerned that the audience would be minimal at best because I was going on at 7:45. All aboard wasn't until 9 or 9:30. So I'm like, all right. And then I had a second show at 9:45. So to me, that meant that, well, if there's going to be people at the first show, they would be people who had already been out and that they're tired. And I didn't know if anyone was going to be at the second show at all. So I was pleasantly surprised that that was not the case. Both shows were very well attended. And now there was that odd challenge again of first crowd returning to see second show. I don't get this. I really don't. I think I talked about this on the last podcast, the last episode, which was, this time it was about a 25% return, which I get. It's flattering. It's appreciated, but it does change things. As I said before, it changes me. It changes the show. I would really rather perform to do prefer to do the same set. That's what I'd rather do. It's the same set. As much as the set I can remember, because my set's all over the place. But I can remember it. I can always remember exactly what it was I said, and then sit down, write it out, and then remember that to duplicate it or replicate it for the next show. And I'd rather do that, because comedy is about the element of surprise. And if you just saw it 30 minutes ago, there is no surprise. And like I said, I'm flattered. I'm appreciative that they felt compelled to return, but still. So I had to get through that. But this time, knowing going in, everything was fine. And of course, I changed the set once I realized there's about 25% of the people, but it wasn't a full scale change. Just a couple of things that were changed. So I still saved enough for the set that I have to do tonight, which is a good thing, because that brings me to this. Something happened to the engines. I don't know. The captain came on. He was talking technical stuff like we're all engineers. Something happened with the robot, the Asipod. I thought he was saying Asimov. I'm like, what is Isaac Asimov robot? That makes no sense. Mathematics is involved in this. But he says something happened to their robot that helps propel the ship. And so they were working on it, but it caused our speed to not be optimal. So we missed the last 2 ports. So there's only 4 ports, and we missed 2 of the ports. So we did not get to go to Ketchikan, and we will not be able to go to Victoria today. So I had taken some of the stuff from the show that I was going to do tonight, because I felt that originally it was scheduled during a time when pretty much no one was going to be on the ship. And I moved that to the second show the other night. And as it turns out, of course, I'm going to need whatever there's left in the archives for this second show, because now there will be people at the show because they can't go anywhere. So I have 2 shows tonight in the lounge, and we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that will go for people who have lost 2 ports and will now be on the ship for what I believe is about 3 sea days, for crying out loud. So we will see. I'm in the lounge, in the BB King lounge. It would probably make more sense to put it in the theater and just have 1 show in the theater, but I'm not in charge. I'm just the dude that goes up there and tell the jokes. What I did find out through this whole engine fiasco thing, not a fiasco, just, an unfortunate incident thing, is that there is a subculture out there that hates the cruise ship industry. I knew nothing about that, but I know now. Because here's what I do. I will normally post pics and put them on whatever social media platform I'm posting on, and I will tag whatever cruise line is, that I'm on in that picture. So I had posted a picture of a glacier a few days ago on Twitter. And then yesterday I got a reply from a dude asking if I had any comment about the engine issue on the ship, which I thought was an odd reply. And I believe what he was doing is because I've tagged Holland America in it. I'm sure this was directed to Holland America, but I'm pretty sure they ignore him is what it is. I'll tell you about who he is in a second. So he just put in the tweet that I had placed and just replied to that tweet because Holland America was also in there. And I'm pretty sure it's like a fishing expedition where you just put a net out and you hope that you catch all the fish in that net. And maybe one of those fish will answer your questions, seeing how the big fish has ignored you. Well, I'm not going to answer his question because I don't speak for Holland America. I'm a dude on here telling my jokes, watching my shows. I'm not an idiot that I'm like, hey, let me talk to you about it. I don't know you, dude. And I looked up this guy's profile. And man, oh man, a world I had no idea existed. Mr. James, parentheses, Jim Walker, who lists himself as a Miami maritime lawyer and publisher of Cruise Law News, subtitled, Everything Cruise Lines Don't Want You to Know. So, you know there may be something of an agenda here with Jim. Maybe, slightly. Just a little tinge of an agenda with him. Like, I'm not sure what happened to him with the cruise industry, but it's definitely got a vibe of show us on the doll where the cruise ship touched you. You see what I'm saying? That's what the whole vibe of the Cruise Law News online magazine thing has for him. The whole everything that a cruise line doesn't want you to know tagline, that's a very suspicious tagline to me. What the cruise line don't want us to know? My question is, what is it that you don't want us to know about you? That's my question, Jim Walker. He put the Jim in parentheses as if we don't know that Jim is short for James. That's a little suspicious, James. What are you hiding? James, Jim, Jimmy. Anyway, I've now been pulled into this like the plot of a Nicolas Cage movie. I need to know. I need answers. I need to know why James hates the cruise industry and that others that follow him, what's their agenda? Why are they so angry? By the way, dude has 15,000 followers, over 15,000 followers on Twitter. Meanwhile, I got 7. But they're a mighty 7. A magnificent 7, as it were. By the way, you can picture that while I'm doing that, I'm pretending that I'm riding on a horse. And now I got to probably do many more episodes of the podcast because I don't think I can afford the royalties for singing the theme to the Magnificent Seven that I was just doing. I don't even think that's allowed. But just know that I was doing the whole thing while pretending to ride a horse. Anyway, I have a feeling that this entire episode is going to be all about the oddity and nonsense of being on a cruise. I think that's what this whole episode is going to be about. Oh, and of course, as promised from the last episode, I'll close out talking about Herschel Walker. I kept you hanging for like 3 weeks saying I was going to talk about Herschel Walker when I come back, and then I didn't come back when I said I was going to come back. Well, now I'm back, and I still get to talk about Herschel Walker because he's still Herschel Walker. I'm going to talk about that. Not yet, but later. Now, here's another weird random thought I had while I was in Sitka for about 20 minutes. I got off the ship to walk around in port. It was about 20 minutes, and then I went back in the ship. Is it in or is it on? Did I go back on the ship or in the ship? I'm not sure which one that is. I mean, technically, I am going in the ship, but maybe you're supposed to say on the ship. Oh. Go ahead and send an email in with your preposition usage knowledge to oldmanisright@gmail.com. See how I spent all this time away to be able to figure out how I can slip the correct email address for the show in there. And it's going to be about prepositions. Do I say in the ship, or do I say I went back on the ship? Or maybe it's either way. I'm not really sure. Like I said, preposition knowledge, oldmanisright@gmail.com. So anyway, I went back in/on the ship, and I was walking around. I was walking along. Before that, I was walking alongside the ship and thought this, because I'm looking at the ship, and the ship is huge. It's not even a big ship that I'm on. but just as a person standing there, and if even you saw another person standing next to a ship, a cruise ship, it's weird, random, but I thought that whole Superman premise is some gigantic bullshit. A ship is giant. That Superman could lift up a ship all while flying at the same time? Come on now. That's crazy. How could that be? How could he possibly lift up a cruise ship? I know, yeah, he's from Krypton and the sun. I get it, but still, look at it. It makes no sense. I wouldn't even know where to start lifting the ship. I wouldn't, in the middle, and he's got to go underwater, then lift up the ship. Does he take a breath before he goes under the water? Does he just lift? Does he have to put, right? Remember, lift with your legs, not with your back. He's lifting a ship. I think that's all back. I think that's what that is. So that's what I thought. I thought, the hell out of here, Superman. You can't lift a cruise ship. You can't. This is not even a big ship. There's no way you could lift this one, let alone a bigger one. How dare you peddle that to me all my life? Then I would actually see it and go, that doesn't make any sense. Superman, you can't lift a cruise ship. Get out of here with your Kryptonian garbage, Superman. I'll believe in Spider-Man before I believe in Superman. Spider-Man got bitten by a radioactive spider. Okay, fine. There could be a radioactive spider that gave Spider-Man spider powers. Fine, fair enough. But not Superman lifting up a cruise ship. It's craziness. The other thing I see on the ships is groups of teens, groups of teenagers walking around the ship. And they walk in groups. There's never like just one. Teens on a ship are a pack animal. Many packs, not one. That one pack, that man, they could take over the ship if there were just one pack of all the teens got together. But no, it's many packs of teens all over the ship. They walk around, they get their steps in. I'll say that. Teens on a ship get their steps in. I don't know where they're going. It's a limited amount of space. But they are running around, not running, but moving around in those little packs like blobs of teenage amoebas just moving around the ship. They all have that disinterested, unimpressed teen face. Just, that look of, this ship. My parents brought me on this ship. And yes, it's white people. Come on, stop. You know it's not black teens. It's white teens on a ship with that disinterested face. This is so, is there something to do? Is there anything we can do? I guess we'll just keep walking. And I look at that and I thought, man, if I was that age, I don't know what I'd have done if my parents were able to bring me onto a cruise ship. Like, I'm not even sure. Other than watching the show The Love Boat, I don't even know what the cruise ship industry was about as a kid growing up. I remember one time, because we didn't have money to go on a cruise. I don't think that's a thing that people even thought about doing back then. But I remember once my mom went to Hawaii. And when you start putting the things back in together like a puzzle, as you're older, we had enough money. We as the family had enough money to send my mom to Hawaii. Just my mom. Not all of us. Not my dad and my mom. Just my mom. That's what we had. We had enough money to send my mom to Hawaii. My mom went, her mother went, and her sister went. The three of them went to Hawaii. And that was it. We had enough money to do that. I remember that very vividly as a kid because those were the old days. You're in the airport. You're at the gate. I remember being at the gate, watching my mom walk down the jetway to get onto the plane. I remember the sadness, not the sadness of, oh, my mom's going somewhere we would like to go. It was just the fact that your mom never left. Your mom didn't go anywhere. Your dad didn't go anywhere. Your dad, if your dad went somewhere, he went to work. If your mom went somewhere, she went to work. If your mom and dad went somewhere, they went somewhere together and then they came back. So it's that whole separation thing. Like my mom's getting on a plane and going to Hawaii. Hawaii? What is that? I mean, we know it's a state. We weren't dumb. But, the only thing we knew about Hawaii was what? The episode of the Brady Bunch? Maybe that was the only thing we knew about what Hawaii was. My mom got on a plane and went to Hawaii, and we were there in the airport, and we were all sad. The kids were sad. And I remember specifically my dad goes, next time I'll let you guys go. Because that's what parents did back then. They lied to the kids to make them feel better in that moment. And by the way, next time never came. But you would always hold on to that. You held on to next time because you didn't know when next time could be. You felt like you're going to be a kid forever. You never knew adulthood was coming. You're like, oh man, that'll be forever when I get to be an adult. As a kid, next time is a long time. But parents have a lot of leeway, a lot of time to play with when you say, hey, next time. Because next time could be forever. And I remember my dad goes, oh, next time I'll have you guys go with them. And we were like, oh, really? Oh, that'd be so cool to be on a plane and we get to go to Hawaii. And you just held on to it. Next time. I don't know how old I was, but I'm 57 now. I'm almost out of time. And I remember that like it was yesterday. I remember most of the next times. And then, as a kid, there's a point where you start realizing like, oh, that means never. I don't know when that is, but it takes just a handful of next times before it dawns on you that next time means never. I'll take you next time. Don't worry about it next time. I'm like, oh, okay. And then you go, and you got excited for a moment. And then it would be like, oh, wait, that means never. That means never. And to this day, I recently was in Hawaii where I got to fly out on an airplane, fly back home. I spent 0 time on the soil of Hawaii. So I still have yet to go to Hawaii. But maybe next time. Maybe next time I'll get to go to Hawaii. But yeah, so when I see the teens all disinterested, I just think, man, oh man, I wish, look at you guys, you teens walking around here in your amoeba state. You're enjoying your next time. I wish I had my next time. You doggone entitled, spoiled kids. The other topic, what else is up on the topics of goofiness for the 29th episode, is this has no tie-in with cruises, by the way. It's just an aside thought that how long do we have to wait till we abandon this whole meta thing? Remember when Facebook say, hey, we're changing to Meta? And people are like, Meta? And they're like, yes, we are now branded as Meta. Well, it's been a while. Anyone calling it Meta? Anyone? Anyone at all? How long before Zuckerberg just abandons this whole Meta thing? And because everybody still refers to it as Facebook. Everyone still refers to it as Facebook. No one is saying Meta. I'll get emails and it says Meta, and it still takes me a moment to go, who? Oh, Facebook. Okay, got it. It's a nice try, but it's not catching on. No one is calling it Meta. But you got it? No one calls it. Just like the whole, it was branded as Facebook. It's going to be Facebook. That's how it is. It's like no one has tissues. They're all Kleenex, even though Kleenex is the brand name. I bet people who even make more tissue go, man, why don't we just call it Kleenex? I bet at their office they go, hey, could you go in there and hand me a Kleenex? I bet the people who make other brands of tissues call them Kleenex because nobody's trying to fight it. So why Facebook is trying to still go with Meta is beyond me, because nobody calls it Meta. Even Meta World Peace abandoned Meta. Didn't he abandon Meta? Didn't he went back to Ron Artest because people still called him Ron Artest? Meta's not catchy, man. She's not going to catch on. It is a short episode because I'm on the ship and I got to get ready to figure out what I'm going to do for the show tonight. So now, let's talk some Herschel Walker, shall we? Some Herschel Walker. Herschel Walker's running for Senate in Georgia. He's got the backing of Trump. He's got the backing of a lot of Republicans because he is the Republican candidate for the Senate race. I don't know who he had to beat out. I don't know what other Republicans were on that ticket that Herschel Walker got pushed to the front. But good Lord, this dude, every day, it's comedy coming out of Herschel Walker's camp. So it was last week, I guess is what it was. He made some type of speech in front of a group of people, a small group of people, about air, about he was slamming the Green Deal, the Clean Air Act, and somehow he made some decisions about how we work on the clean air, but China doesn't work on clean air. Another country was also in there that doesn't work on clean air. And then we have clean air, and our clean air goes over to China. My favorite part is when he says, and then the air that's in China decides to come over to here. Decides is the word he used. So air mass has a brain, which I'll leave it at that. I was going to make a snide comment about Herschel Walker, but I won't. I won't be mean. But in his mind, air could make a decision, and then the air would come over here. The dirty air comes here. Our clean air goes there. Then we have to clean their dirty air, and then it just keeps a big cycle of going on. But my favorite part is the fact when he says that the air decides to move. And this is the dude that they're backing. I posted something that I thought was funny because it is funny. Because I posted it because I thought it was funny. Do you understand what I'm saying here? I'm not saying I thought it was funny. I know it was funny. I said that dumber than a box of Herschel Walkers is a new measurement. And so I put that out into the ether. You know where I posted on? Meta. And you're like, where is that? Yeah, it's Facebook. That's where it is. I posted that up there, and it's so funny to me how thin-skinned we've become politically. Because now it's, if you say something about anyone in their party, you don't even have to say their party. The members of that party believe that, oh my goodness, you're attacking my tribe. That's how we've gotten politically in this country, that you can't say anything about someone just as an individual, has no reflection on you, no reflection on anything else. I'm just saying this person. I said Herschel Walker. The new phrase is dumber than a box of Herschel Walkers. And a couple of people, of course, people that I went to high school with, because good Lord, my high school, good grief. I've told about this before. It's on a previous episode. Maybe you'll have to go find it. But my high school days were good. For the most part, they were good because I made the best out of what they were. But there were some people that I went to high school with that the only reason we were in a certain moment in time together is because that was the high school. There ain't anywhere, there is no way possible on any scenario on earth that I would be hanging out with some of these people. A lot of the people that I went to high school with. I don't even know what they were. I'm going to say that they were very limited in their scope of thinking. That's not a dig on their intelligence. I'm just saying in their scope of how they view the world, it's just very limited. So there'd be a point where I would never be hanging out with these people. But some of these people are Facebook friends, Meta friends. I'm trying with the Meta thing. They are Facebook friends, and then they will get a little fired up, very sensitive. So a guy posted saying, "Oh, it's funny that you think that Herschel Walker is dumb, but you will support and vote for people who are literally brain dead." And then something else was on there. And first of all, I mean, I know this guy that I went to high school with. I've not seen him since high school. I don't interact with him in any way other than Facebook posts where he will put up something that is pro-Republican, slamming something that I've said, which, you know me, I'm just for the funny is what I'm doing. I'm for the funny. So I had to set him straight on the idea of saying that Herschel Walker is just plain dumb. This has nothing to do with political party. I didn't say the Republican Party is dumb. I didn't say Republican supporters are dumb. I said this dude, Herschel Walker, is dumb. But that's their tribe. So they got to defend their tribe and come after me as to my voting record and who I support, which I've never once posted about who I support or who I voted for, which makes no sense that you'd come after me personally about what I vote and support, considering the fact that it was just a post about Herschel Walker. So I replied to his post saying that whether he a Cowboys fan? Is he a Georgia fan? Is he a New Jersey Generals fan? Which would be very impressive, old school impressive. Because he's a tad sensitive on this. And also said that I believe the word you're looking for is figuratively, not literally. Because I don't believe literally brain dead people can do much of anything. But then again, I'm literally not a doctor. I've not heard anything back, which is all for the best. But it does bring me to the point that this misusage of words, and I've talked about this before where I've said apparently words don't mean anything. This literally thing really gets on my nerves because when I looked it up, because I'm like, I'm saying this correct. Like he's using the word incorrectly. Like literally means as in writing, literally, to mean it actually is happening, not figuratively, which is what the whole word figuratively was made up for. So I look up the definition, and there's a new addendum, or is it addition? I don't have time to sit here trying to figure out these doggone words. Addendum to the dictionary where the word literally, and here's the thing about it in that definition, where they say it can be an exaggeration as to not literally mean what it means. They use the word literally within the definition of the word to try and flip the word to mean the opposite of what it's supposed to mean. Wasn't that one of the first things when you were kids and the teacher was saying, hey, what is the definition of this word? And you would use the word in the definition. She'd go, no, 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 no. Or he would go, no, 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 no. You can't use the word in the definition. I think that's the number one rule of a definition. But we now have put the word into the definition. In essence, what we have done is we have succumbed and given in to the dumb majority and said, you know what, you win. So many people use the word incorrectly. So many of the teens. Yes, that's the girl. I don't know what this female thing is with young teenage girls where there's no enunciation going on. And it's either that vocal fry thing that takes place. If you see any of them, watch The Bachelor, watch any of them with this vocal fry and listening to them where that weird type of affect goes on. Or it's every sentence ends in a question. Like it all goes up. Every sentence at the end goes up. Like, are you asking me? Because that's what it sounds like you're doing. But no, they're making statements, but it goes up. And that's teen girls. I don't know what has happened to us where that is now the line of speak for all teen girls, or majority of teen girls, where the words go up at the end, like it's a question, or it's the vocal fry. But all of them, when you hear them say, I literally died, I mean literally died. Like, you literally died? Like, no, really, I literally died. Like, no, you didn't literally die because you're still here. You figuratively died. And I don't know why it is we couldn't use that word. Maybe because it has too many syllables in it. Figuratively has way more syllables than literally. And literally's got a bunch of L's so you don't have to enunciate. That probably helped. But we gave in to them. We gave in. And we gave in on a lot of things where this is not a word. This is not a word. And they're like, well, a lot of people use it, so therefore now it's a word. This majority rules society that we've become is more insanity. Because the majority of people are idiots. I'm sorry. They are. A lot of them are idiots. And they're loud. They're loud idiots. And they get to use and misuse words and then just roll their eyes at the rest of us who actually know words and learn the rules of how to use words. But it's too late for us because they are literally in charge. This, I don't know how this podcast is going to come out. I hope it's enjoyable. I hope it was something. I'm not sure what it was, to tell you the truth. I had a lot of interruptions. I had to stop. So what you're hearing will be a nice, smooth edit of the podcast. You won't even know about crazy interruptions that took place. Like why the fire sprinkler in my room was dripping. That was a little unsettling. But anyway, we've covered the stuff. We covered what's going on the cruise. We covered Herschel Walker. Air can decide, so be careful where you go. You don't want to make Air angry. Air could decide that, I don't want to be here for you anymore, and now you have no air to breathe. So you got to watch out for that. So I've got 8 more weeks. 8 more weeks out here on the high seas, shuttling back and forth between Alaska and Seattle. I'll keep you posted as to what goes on. We'll see when I can get the next podcast up, when I'll be so motivated to do so. So I got 8 more weeks out here. I got 2 more weeks before the family comes out. That'll be nice and exciting. Olivia and the wife will be coming out, and I'll get to show them the work. That's really what it is. I feel like, hey, the family's coming out to come to my office, see what's doing. So that'll be fun. So they come out in a couple of weeks, and then I will have 6 more weeks after that. And then I'll go home for a bit. In the meantime, I'll be here treating the ship like it's fat camp. I think I said shimp. Treating the ship like it's fat camp. I've done well so far. Got basketball going. I've got pickleball going whenever people go up there to play pickleball. We're still having that problem. And other than that, just watching my shows. I'm in on this. I started watching Manifest when it first came out. And then I got lost and stopped watching because there was a thing where it shut down and nobody knew when it was coming back and stuff like that. So it's on Netflix. I downloaded it and I started watching that again to see what's doing. I got to see where this thing is going. NBC is not great at these type of sci-fi shows. This was an NBC show. I don't know if I've discussed this before, but maybe I'll save this in depth for another episode as to my theory on which networks do what best. NBC always has the best premises of these sci-fi-ish type of shows, but that's not what they do well. That's why they never last. What NBC does well is medical drama. That's what you do well, NBC. You do medical drama well. Stay in your lane. But every so often they'll put up a show and you'll go, man, that sounds like a great premise. That sounds like something. And then it just peters out. I think the most successful show they've had of late, was Heroes. Heroes was the most successful NBC sci-fi-ish type of show. But they had The Event. That lasted 1 season. And they always suck me in because I love sci-fi and I'll get sucked in. And then, boom, done. Left hanging. So anyway, I'm in on Manifest. I'm on season 2 now. See where this is going. I believe that is about it. I appreciate all of you for tuning in to this nonsense. Me just being able to prattle off words, and spill them out of my noggin. I don't know what it does. I don't know what it accomplishes. It's like a therapy session with 17 listeners. And I appreciate all of you. That time I wasn't pretending I was riding a horse. So I will be back when I'm back. How about we say that? All things Lamont Ferguson can be found at lamontferguson.com. I am on a variety of social media platforms. Most of them are at TV Funny Man. That's Instagram. That's Twitter, where you can follow me and see how far down the rabbit hole of cruise ship hatred Jim Walker is willing to go. You can email the show at oldmanisright@gmail.com. I believe that is it. We've talked about some things today. I don't really even know. A lot of them had to do with the cruise ship industry. I don't know what's going on with the cruise ship industry and the oddities that I see while I'm on the cruises. Some of the things, I don't know, I may be off on. Some of the things I know I'm not. Herschel Walker is an idiot. I can safely say that. Confidently say that. That I know that dude ain't smart. People, and they were busy trying to throw things in there. I saw a guy like, he was valedictorian at his high school. Okay, what? That had to be on a curve. He was the star football player at his high school too. So how do you think he got to be valedictorian? Either that or that is the dumbest high school that's ever been created, is what that is. Anyway, I talked about a myriad of things. Some of the things I may have been maybe not well informed about. Some of them. But literally, sometimes the old man is right. I'll see you next time.